The Ethiopian Holy Scriptures, known for their unique and ancient Christian texts, have a rich and complex history that intertwines religion, politics, and cultural identity. The story of why these sacred writings were at times forbidden or marginalized in the wider Christian world is deeply tied to theological disagreements, colonialism, and the evolution of Christianity as a global religion. Christianity was introduced to Ethiopia in the 4th century CE by Saint Frumentius, who became the first bishop of the Ethiopian Church. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church grew independently from other branches of Christianity, and over time, it developed its own liturgical practices, religious beliefs, and scriptural canon. This isolation played a crucial role in the development of the Ethiopian Bible, which contains 81 books, including texts that were not universally recognized by other Christian denominations. For centuries, the Ethiopian Church held to its distinct scriptures, separate from the more widespread versions of the Bible used by the Roman Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, and Protestant traditions. The Ethiopian Christian canon has always included additional scriptures like the Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text, the Book of Jubilees, another ancient Jewish work, and the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. These texts were included because they were highly regarded by the Ethiopian Church and were part of the religious tradition followed by the local Christian community. However, the divergence of the Ethiopian Church's canon from other Christian traditions led to tensions as Christianity spread throughout Europe and Asia. In the early centuries of Christianity, theological disagreements and ecclesiastical politics caused many Christian communities to emphasize the authority of certain texts while rejecting others. One significant turning point came with the rise of the Council of Nicaea in 325 CE, convened by Emperor Constantine. The council was primarily focused on establishing doctrinal unity within the Christian world, particularly around the nature of Christ. The theological debates of this period, while important for the shaping of Christian orthodoxy, also led to the marginalization of certain texts and traditions that did not align with the emerging orthodoxy. While the Ethiopian Orthodox Church was largely insulated from the direct influence of the Roman Empire, the broader Christian community, including the Roman Catholic Church, began to solidify a standardized canon which excluded many of the additional texts found in the Ethiopian Bible. Over time, this divergence in canon led to a perception of the Ethiopian Scriptures as heretical or non-canonical by the Roman Catholic Church, and later by Protestant groups. The situation became even more complicated with the rise of European colonialism in the 19th and 20th centuries. European powers, particularly the British and Italians, sought to exert control over Ethiopia, a country that had long resisted foreign rule. This period of colonialism was marked by attempts to impose Western religious and cultural values on Ethiopia. In the 19th century, many European missionaries sought to reform Ethiopian Christianity, encouraging the Ethiopian Church to conform to the Roman Catholic or Protestant standards. These missionaries often saw the Ethiopian Orthodox Church as backward and in need of modernizing. As part of their efforts, they sought to undermine the authority of the Ethiopian Scriptures, encouraging the Ethiopian Church to abandon or minimize its distinctive biblical texts in favor of the canonical texts recognized by the Western Church. This effort to suppress the Ethiopian Scriptures was not only religious but also political. The Ethiopian Church with its unique canon was a symbol of Ethiopian identity and independence. By challenging the validity of Ethiopian Christianity and its holy texts, colonial powers sought to undermine a key aspect of Ethiopian sovereignty. This period saw the Ethiopian Bible being increasingly marginalized by outside forces, with the Ethiopian Church under pressure to adopt Western Christian practices and beliefs. A major theological dispute between the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and the broader Christian world revolves around the issue of the canon of Scripture. The Ethiopian Bible includes numerous texts that are not considered part of the canonical Scripture in other Christian traditions. While the Catholic and Protestant Bibles typically include 66 books, 39 in the Old Testament and 27 in the New Testament, the Ethiopian Bible contains 81 books, including several Old Testament books that are either considered apocryphal or non-canonical by other traditions. This broader canon was one of the reasons the Ethiopian Bible was not accepted as canonical by other Christian traditions. The Catholic Church, following the Council of Trent, 1945-1963, formally closed its canon and excluded many of the additional texts that were part of the Ethiopian Bible. The Protestant Reformation, which sought to return to a purer form of Christianity based on the Hebrew and Greek texts, further reinforced the exclusion of these additional books. Among the key differences are books like the Book of Enoch, which is particularly important in Ethiopian Christianity, but has been rejected by the wider Christian world. The Book of Enoch contains detailed descriptions of the heavenly realms, angels, and fallen angels, and it played a significant role in the early Christian understanding of the nature of evil and the spiritual world. The Catholic and Protestant churches, however, dismissed the Book of Enoch as apocryphal and non-canonical. The Ethiopian Bible has had a profound impact on the development of Christianity, not just within Ethiopia, but also in the broader world. The inclusion of texts like the Book of Enoch and other apocryphal writings challenges some of the theological assumptions of mainstream Christianity. These texts present alternative views on subjects like angels, demons, and the nature of evil, offering a more complex and nuanced understanding of the spiritual realm. Despite being marginalized, the Ethiopian Holy Scriptures have remained an important part of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and Ethiopian culture. In recent decades, there has been a renewed interest in the Ethiopian Bible, particularly in the West, as scholars and theologians have sought to understand the rich theological and historical traditions of Ethiopian Christianity. The Book of Enoch, for example, has been rediscovered by scholars of biblical studies and is now being reevaluated as an important early Jewish text with significant implications for Christian theology. Many scholars have recognized that the Book of Enoch and other apocryphal books provide valuable insights into early Christian thought and the development of Christian theology, particularly in relation to angels and the concept of the afterlife. The story of the Ethiopian Holy Scriptures being forbidden or marginalized by the wider Christian world is not simply a story of rejection. It is a story of cultural and theological resilience. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, through centuries of isolation, colonial pressure, and theological exclusion, has maintained a unique and rich tradition of Scripture that continues to shape the faith and identity of the Ethiopian people. The Ethiopian Bible remains a powerful symbol of resistance to cultural and religious hegemony. It represents a distinct Christian tradition that offers alternative perspectives on biblical history and theology, and it continues to be a source of spiritual strength and theological inspiration for millions of Ethiopians and others around the world. Despite its exclusion from the broader Christian canon, the Ethiopian Holy Scriptures have survived as a testament to the enduring power of faith and the importance of preserving cultural and religious traditions in the face of external pressures